Good morning, everybody. I finally get to give my first 2020 garden tour. And I was supposed to do this last week, but we kept having rainstorms and windstorms, which I am not complaining about the rain. Let me tell you, we needed it. It is so dry here. So today it's supposed to be 99 degrees, which means it's going to be a scorcher. So I decided to go ahead and come out here this early and get this done. I have with me my vegetable garden journal. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend you get one because this thing has been a lifesaver. I couldn't remember what I planted where because by the time I was done, I thought I would know. 2 or 3 days passed and I had not a clue. A few things, but not many. Anyhow, let's get started. So welcome to my garden. If y'all remember, when I did my 100 subscriber giveaway, I bought these felt pots and I gave a felt pot away with some seeds and some garden tools. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was to grow something on this trellis in the entryway of the garden. And I chose to grow the Chinese noodle beans. So I'm hoping to be able to walk through them. I don't know if the felt container is going to be enough room to accommodate these, but I'm going to give it a shot. Ooh, almost fell. But I'm going to give it a shot anyhow. I am having a really bad problem with birds. They are eating every little plant that I have. See where they snapped off the top of that bean? They're doing it to so much stuff in my garden. I'm really becoming very furious. I put this little guy out thinking that maybe it would scare him away. And I put this guy in thinking that, you know, it would help deter the birds, but it hasn't done a darn thing. So I've been very aggravated by that. So let me get started here. That big tree up above me provides a lot of shade on this corner, so I put things like my kale in here, and so that's what I have growing here. But if y'all remember, I told you I was going to do all tomatoes down here, and tomatoes is what I've got going. So the first tomato that I did was the Paul Robinson, not sure exactly how you pronounce it, tomato, I don't know. But this is the one, the first one of each group is the ones I did in my dad's formula, and then the second one is the one that I did with the egg. So if we were going by height, the egg is a little bit taller on this one, but as we go on down, you will learn that some of the ones that have my dad's formula are bigger than the egg. So in front, I have planted peppers. I do believe that this is going to be a lilac bell pepper. I forgot to label them, so I'm not sure exactly what it is. They are doing very well. So I have the Paul Robeson here. I don't have a picture of this to show it because it was some seeds that I won in a giveaway. So coming on down the line, this little guy right here, he got really sick. And I mean, I almost yanked him out, but I went ahead, I'll probably go ahead and cut this branch off as well. So this is one of the ones I said I was gonna go ahead and prune anyhow, so I don't mind, but all of the new growth looks really good, so I'm not gonna yank him up, at least not yet. But this is this one, and here is his counterpart. Yes, this is the one I did in my dad's formula, and this is the one that I did with the egg. That's a big difference. But I think this one was bigger when I planted it than this one was. So at the end of the year is when I'll really know what the difference is. But these plants are going to be the Great White Tomato. Anyway, so this one is deliciously fruity, remnants of fresh cut pineapple. I'm pretty excited about that. And again, is a bell pepper in the front of them. Now, what I think I've done wrong to start off, y'all, is if you look, at the gap between my trellis and my tomato. I don't think that I planted them close enough to the trellis to tie them on. And I think I put my trellis too close to the ground. I never thought about lifting it up until I saw a video the other day. However, it's still not too late to do that if I need to. So moving on down, this guy and this guy, and once again, this is my dad's formula, and then this is the egg. It's a little bit taller, but like I said, at the end of the year, we will decide which one is better. I'm having a problem with my blooms drying out. Oops, that one just fell right off. See how dry? And so I looked that up on the internet yesterday, and it did say that, well, like I told you, it's super, 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 super dry where I live. So it's not getting enough water. And then I have some leaf curling going on down here, but I'm going to be trimming this off anyhow. But this plant is the Black Beauty. I'm really excited about these ones. The only thing that I don't think I'm gonna like about them is I don't like that size. See, it's like a saladette tomato instead of a great big one. But I didn't think of that. I just thought the black tomato was just really cool looking, and I just wanted to try something different. Moving on down, now talk about something different are these two. And if you look, my dad's formula is actually bigger than the egg. But once again, we're going to be waiting. But once again, we're going to be waiting until the end of the season to see which one does better. These are the Dark Galaxy. I do believe that this, again, is going to be another small tomato. So I didn't see that when I bought them, but I was so intrigued just by the way they looked, I just had to try them. So these are the Dark Galaxy, and I really can't wait for these. Now I'm really excited about these tomatoes right here. This is probably one of the ones I was most excited about, and this is the Abe Lincoln. That's because that's going to be the great big ones. I had a super hard time getting these to germinate and live, but I did manage to get a few. I got some in the other part of the yard. I'll show you later. And then I don't have pictures of these, but I did have some cayenne. See where the birds? That's from a bird. Yeah. I know what it is too. It's a robin, and he's out here every day just digging for worms and just making havoc in my garden. I've chased him out several times. And then that's another cayenne pepper, and then that's another cayenne pepper as well. Now this little guy, this is the one that I showed y'all how to plant, and it's the second one. This is going to be the Kellogg's Breakfast, and I chose this again because of the size, and I've never planted orange tomatoes before. So this guy was super tiny when I planted him, so that's why it's so much littler than this one. But he's grown quite a bit since I've planted him, so I'm pretty excited about that. So as far as the garden goes, that's the tomatoes, and I think they look pretty darn healthy and good. I can't wait. This one right here, it's already starting to flop over, so I need to, he's standing now. I need to get him tied to the trellis. So I'm going to move on over here. I'm probably going to go ahead and plant acorn squash there because I want to be able to grow it up onto the fence. I have pulled, and it doesn't even look like it, but I have pulled tons of radishes, and I still have plenty to pull. This one has already bolted, so I'm going to go ahead and let it go to seed. Look how pretty. These are those Szechuan radishes here, and these ones down here are a mixture of all different ones. I've got white ones, red ones, long ones. There's supposed to be some orange ones in here, but I haven't pulled any of those ones yet. This right here is all dill. It's volunteer from last year. So I will show you when I have ripe tomatoes how I make my tomato sandwiches, and I do use fresh dill. Love it. Coming on up here, these are my beets. I have never been successful at growing beets. I've only tried one time. It was last year, and I planted them way late in the season, having no idea anything about the difference between a summer and spring garden. I've always only planted a summer garden for, I don't know, let me see, 30 some odd years. That's all I've ever done is plant summer gardens. Last year I tried to plant a fall garden, and this year I'm planting a spring garden. But look at this. Those are sunset runner beans. Aren't they beautiful? They just started blooming. If I had done this garden tour last week, y'all would have never seen these because they weren't blooming then. But they have grown so much just in the week. They're going right up this trellis here. So I cannot wait to start harvesting the sunset runner beans. And then I have carrots over here. And they seem to be doing pretty darn good. So moving right on up into this bed. Y'all saw this last week, but I didn't really give you much on the celery. So this is my very first time to plant celery. This is the Chinese pink celery, and as you can see, yes, it is pink. Isn't that the coolest? I love it. I could hardly wait to start harvesting. Now this guy is not pink, but I guess that's okay. It must have been a weird little seed that got mixed up in the package, but that's all right. So we're gonna have a regular celery. I don't mind that at all as well, but I just love the fact that they're pink. It just makes me happy. This is the Butter Crunch lettuce. This was my free seeds that I got through Baker Creek's catalog. I love this lettuce. It is so good. It is really, really, really tasty. And then over here, I'll just come up a little bit closer. It's nice and frilly. I bought these at the dollar store, and it's the Grand Rapids leaf lettuce. And it's beautiful. I love it. Has a nice taste to it as well. It's not bitter. And then my very, very favorite one, y'all, is the Merlot lettuce. And it's so good, and it looks so beautiful hanging out on your sandwiches, in your salad. And I have this whole row going of this, and I pick it every day. I come out here and I pick a big bowl, and my mom and I have been eating salads like you wouldn't believe. And then right on down here, just because I had the room, I put some more of the Butter Crunch lettuce. So that's my whole lettuce crop. I hope it doesn't start bolting, especially since it's supposed to be 99 degrees today. That's not good for a spring crop. I'm going to come back around here and start on, let me get my book out of the way. So this year we planted this as the melon bed. My son asked if he could plant all his melons in here, and I agreed. Last year it was my salsa bed, and the year before that it was a pumpkin bed. So this year it's going to be a melon bed. I planted, to start off, the orange watermelon, and that would be this one. And I planted another one over here, but it still hasn't come up, so I may have to replant. Come right on down here, and I have one growing here and one growing here, and these two are the white Wonder watermelons. Now my son loves things to be different. He wanted to try things that we couldn't buy in the grocery store, so that's why we are doing this. So over here, because okay, you guys remember we put the trellis up, the archway. I'll just come on around since I'm right here. So we put this archway up, and right here we planted the tiger melon. So this is what I'm hoping to grow to take hold of the trellis. On down here, I've planted Kajari melons, and I have one coming up here, and I did have one coming up in here somewhere, but more than likely another stinky little bird got a hold of it. They're just really creating a lot of havoc in my garden. So moving on over to this side, this dude right here, he's doing really good. That's going to be the, how do I say this, Sakata sweet melon. This is a Japanese melon. This dude here, I don't know how his leaf has got all shredded, probably from the rain. We did get some pretty good rain. It's going to be, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, y'all. I'm just going to tell you it's an Italian sea pumpkin. Looks all warty. He liked it because it was ugly. I'm like, why do you want to put ugly things in the garden? But he does. It's a squash, actually. So it's called the Italian. I don't even know how to say that. I'm not Italian, so there y'all go. That's what it is. So this is what we're growing on this side of the trellis. And then I do have some cabbages growing. I have one down there in between some of the lettuce. He's not looking too awfully healthy. And then I have these, and this one here, he doesn't look too great either. So it looks like something's been chewing on him. And then here on my swing set, this used to have a little couch swing on it that flew out of the back of the vehicle while we were moving. We never did find it. This is my cucumbers. And these are Market Moors. And look at, this is the first time I've ever had a cucumber this early. And this, looky, there he is, back there. This is because I started them indoors. This time last year, they were just super, they were like this big coming out of the ground. So I am ahead of the game. That is garlic. And back here is some more Market Moors. I'm not sure if these are Market Moors or Ashley. I was hoping that they were going to be cucamelons. But after seeing everybody else's cucamelons that are on other channels, these are not cucamelons. So they're either Market Moor or Ashley. And I need to go ahead and start them up the trellis. That one's running over there to overtake the cabbage. And the reason why I was hoping they were cucamelons, because we're going to move right on over here to Landon's bed. Twice now, the wind took out one cucamelon here. And do you see these holes? Yeah. This thing, I planted it, before I came out and harvested. I planted this plumb full of cucamelons, and oh, wait, we have a baby. We have a baby. Okay, I should hide it. Maybe I should surround it like this, because those birds, as you can tell, he is getting in here and he has snapped all the cucamelons that had come up already, except for this one apparently. I've had to replant the Mongolian sunflower several times because the birds keep snapping it off. It's already taken this one out twice. So I don't know, I can't seem to get rid of the birds, and this guy's not helping any. I thought they might be scared of it, but they're not. Landon's nasturtium is not doing well, and yes, I water it. I don't know why. It's something, oh, it looks lacy, like something's eating it, but it's gone. And in here, because there was room in Landon's garden, I put a white, I had an extra white tomato, so one of those great white tomatoes, so I put it here. And then, super excited about this, here is the ground cherry. And look, under there, we've got ground cherries growing. Check it out. I can't hardly wait to try these. I do have a couple of more things that I'm going to plant that I haven't quite got to yet. Only because I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Orozo con polo, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce this, y'all. I stink at that. But I have one of these to plant. Some of those peppers up front, oh, my book fell in the garden. Some of those peppers might be one of these. I don't know, I'm just calling them lilac, but it could be one of these. And then these are probably all dark galaxies. Yep, dark galaxy, dark galaxy. These did great. I didn't have a problem whatsoever getting the dark galaxies to germinate. I just didn't want that many, but that's okay. I am going to find a place for them today, and this should be, I don't know what it is. I think it's a black beauty. I'm gonna find a home for it too. But that's all that I have left to plant as far as my plants go. Of all the seedlings you saw me start in my closet, this is what's left for me to plant. Because those cucamelons, I wanted to grow cucamelons so bad, I'm really considering putting these right here instead of the acorn squash. But the other place I could put them is when these sunset runner beans finish. Maybe if I do have one of these started in my closet. I just remembered I do have one of these left if it makes it. And if it does, maybe I can plant it here when these guys are done. But I'll have to harden it off first. Oh, in case you don't know what ground cherries are, these are the Aunt Molly ground cherries. These are what is in Landon's bed. He requested these because he has a sweet tooth like you wouldn't believe. So that's what those are. And they look like those little Chinese lanterns. So this is the okra that I'm going to be putting probably this week. I'm going to go ahead and harvest some more of these radishes. I'll probably do some roasted radishes one night for dinner with some fish or something. But I have the Hill Country okra, and this is the orange Zing okra. I think it is. Yes. Jing. Sorry, Jing. I grew both of these last year. If you saw my video, you'll know that I was not happy with the Texas Hill Country. I didn't like them. It didn't matter if I picked them when they were small, medium, large. It didn't matter. They were so woody, all of them. So why am I going to plant them this year? Because last year, I hate to waste things, and I ended up drying them and making the best stinking croutons you have ever tried in your life. And we couldn't stop eating them. They were so good. So I you know, I'm going to plant them again, and I'm going to make croutons out of them this year for our salads. I'm going to start some more lettuce in my closet, probably in July, so that I can get it out here before and get it started for a fall garden. So anyway, this is where I'm not too worried. This is not the greatest soil. This is okra likes to grow in poor conditions, so I decided that that's what I'm going to use this bed for right here, because it's super dry and it's not the greatest in the soil department, so it will grow great okra. So this right here is my tower. As my son keeps telling me, stop calling it a tower, Mom, it's a reservoir. So this is the water reservoir that I use, and I just fill it up, and then I put my nutrients in this reservoir in order to water my garden. And then I painted these little chairs last year, and I'm gonna finish getting all this picked up and cleaned up here so that I can, in the heat of the day and in the afternoon, this is totally shaded by this ginormous tree here. This part of the garden is shaded, so it's really nice just to come out here and sit. And I will just go ahead and sit down. And when my little arched trellis is full, this will be the perfect spot to just sit out here and drink a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. A cup of tea. Speaking of which, where's my tea? I did bring out a cup of tea and I got busy. I usually drink coffee, not tea, but I've already had 3 cups this morning, and if I drink any more, I'll become nauseous. I have some more to show you, so give me just a second. I sure wished I had a camera person. If I did, either that or an extra arm. It makes it hard to do these videos when you're the only one. I lost my selfie stick. I don't know where the heck it is. I've looked everywhere for it for months now. I won't buy another one because I know I have one, but I'm pretty sure now I'm going to have to break down and buy one. Anyhow, do y'all remember I took you on a tour out here in the snow one day, and I explained to you that I was going to set up the backyard for my mom, and because she has macular degeneration and her eyesight is very limited, and I worry about her falling, and it's kind of hard for her to get down to the garden because my Siberians, they get so excited to see people that they start running and playing and acting ridiculous, and they're going to cause her to fall. So I set her up a spot in the yard. So let me show you this. I'm just going to start this direction. We have lots of pollinators. Y'all need to attract bees. This guy right here is called blue salvia, and I wish I had it down at my garden. I don't know if you can see all the bees on it. There's just bees everywhere. Let's see. There's a bee. Here's a bee. So this whole thing is done all the way down in blue salvia. So in this little barrel, I ended up planting these Queen Lime Blush zinnias. Aren't they beautiful? I just love them, and I can hardly wait until we get our first flower off of them. And yes, y'all, you heard me say zinnia. That's the way I grew up pronouncing it. It's the only way I've ever heard it pronounced until I started watching YouTube. And I'm not the only one that calls it that. Callie Kim, if you've never seen her show, she calls them zinnias as well. So I felt very glad to hear that I wasn't the only one that said that. But look at this, more pollinators. So I think it just depends on what part of the country you grow up in, on whether you call them zinnias or zinnias, tomato, pecan. So over here in the purple container, I planted chamomile, and it's finally starting to show something's coming up, these little guys. I hope it's the chamomile. It's been in here for a couple weeks and hasn't done a darn thing. And then in the little red barrel, I planted sage and lemon balm. I believe the sage is in the back and the lemon balm is in the front. I just read it and I can't remember. But then more of the salvia and another bee. And then I got lots of this. Once you plant one, it's like runners in the ground. It just keeps spreading and spreading. They're everywhere. And then I just transplanted this. It's a raspberry bush, and it's doing very well. And then I have another breakfast Kellogg's that I planted right here. I just did this because I needed a space to plant, and I had room here. And then more blue salvia, more. This looks good. Ignore my weeds, you guys. As fast as I can pull them up, they're growing right back. Now this is a pink one, a pink salvia. Isn't it pretty? So now this one's a big one. There's more bees on it as well. And then this one too. And then my husband, he put this in for me. Isn't it cool? We come down here and barbecue. And we just had all these extra bricks. My sister-in-law wanted to get rid of them. They pulled them all up and they just had them stacked at their house and they were going to throw them all away or try to get rid of them. And so we came and got them. And then over here, I have nothing planted here yet, but I do have some Virginia creeper growing in this bucket. But there's no holes in the bottom of it, so I need to do something so it doesn't drown, because that's coming. And then up here by the porch, that is a volunteer sunflower. Did not plant that in there. But I have lots of marigolds coming up, and looks like cilantro. It is cilantro. My goodness, that's a volunteer. And then nasturtiums. I have to show you this because I think it's so funny. I'm going to fill this little dude up with some dirt and plant in it. I haven't done that yet. But this is my compost bag, and the stuff is just growing in it like crazy. I couldn't believe it. And there's even these, I believe, are going to be pumpkins. And there's even onions in there. See that little onion? There, from a different direction. My other hand's full with my tea, so I can't pull it back. See, I have an onion there. But that's just growing out of my compost bag. That's where I just come out and put all my kitchen scraps in here. And then that dude started growing. So on up here on the porch, I've got a mosquito bush. I overwintered that in the basement, so it's coming back. It's got a lot of new growth on it. I almost killed it because I didn't harden it off. I brought it out here. See where the leaves are all burned? I brought it out here and just stuck it straight out here in this afternoon sun. Got a hold of it. And then over here, I've got some more nasturtiums. And then I've got some more marigolds. Oh, I forgot to show you the marigolds in the garden. It's all right, next tour. We finally have got some roses coming on. We planted these roses in memory of my dad. He loved roses. His favorite was a yellow rose, but doesn't look very good. I think it needs some nutrients. And oh, I got a squash. I decided to do squashes right here. This is the first time I've seen a squash come up. I've been having a hard time germinating squash. That has never happened ever. More nasturtiums. I never have a hard time germinating squash. I can't remember what the name of this is, but it gets the prettiest blue flowers all over it. This is blackberries. Y'all, I already dug them up and transplanted it, and that's coming up, but right in the center is supposed to be another squash, and this is supposed to be another squash, and it still hasn't come up. See, I've never had problems getting squash to come up, but for some reason I'm having a super bad problem with it this year. I did transplant some raspberries over here, but it doesn't look like they made it, but the vines are coming up. Okay, here's the best part. And I should probably go get my book real quick so I can show you. Okay, you guys all love this book. See, I got everything lined out here, what I did with what. So these pots are, let's see, they come up to my knee. So I don't know how deep that is. They're good sized pots. And I planted beefsteak in this one, and then I planted the atomic grape tomatoes in this one. Oh, I did not notice this. Oh, look. Look at you guys. Oh my god. Oh, there they are. I did not notice that. This is the tomato plant that I didn't plant cherry tomatoes this year, and this is the only like a cherry tiny tomato that I chose to plant is the atomic grape. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Oh man, that's so cool. Okay, beefsteak, atomic grape, and then this one right here is going to be a beefsteak as well. And then this one over here is an Abe Lincoln that I stuck in here. It's with my strawberry spinach. Now the spinach is coming on, but I still haven't seen anything that looks like little strawberries on it yet, or strawberry leaves. Speaking of strawberries, here's Landon's strawberry plant. And I see no strawberries on it, but hey. And then this is my lettuce. You guys have seen me come out here and pull lettuce out for a salad. I need to start harvesting some more of it. It needs to be done today. And then I got two different kales here. I don't even know which ones, y'all. I can't even tell you. More of the strawberry spinach, and then a nasturtium. And then this, I believe, let me look on my book here. This plant, yep, is the Wagner Blue Green. This is the one that I was not excited about growing at all, but my son Tyler chose it, and it was actually the only one that lived in all of the ones that I started, so we planted it out here. And here are some cucumbers. I don't know why they're not thriving like but remember the ones in the back of the trellis in the garden, and I told you I didn't know what they were and thought maybe they might be Ashleys. They were stunted. These are the same ones, so I'm thinking that they are probably Ashleys instead of Marketmore. And then down here I have Kellogg's. Both of these are Kellogg's, Kellogg breakfast. And then over here I have another Kellogg's. My Kellogg's did really well, didn't they, in germinating? And then this is the okay, I'm gonna butcher this trying to say it, y'all. Costatulo Florentino or something like that. And right behind it is a red curry squash. So this is something that I also did wrong, was I did not fill my bag up far enough with dirt. I don't believe. It wouldn't hurt to add it with the tomatoes, but I don't know about with these. I'll probably, as these start to grow, I'm going to because they grow in a vine, they vine out, so I'm going to turn them onto this chain link fence. And this tomato here is a Dark Galaxy. So remember I told you I had a lot of Dark Galaxy tomatoes that did really well. Oh, and this is the Abe Lincoln. And I will, like I said, I will probably see how this leaf right here, it looks so yucky. I'll probably pinch it off and then just fill more dirt in around them. But that was my bad. I didn't think about how deep to fill these pots. But this, I cleaned off. There was a lot of rocks, and a lot of this has resurfaced. I had all this cleaned up, but see these are, believe it or not, for somebody who can't see and that are unstable on their feet, when you step on a round rock like that, it causes you to roll, and that's exactly how my mom falls down, so I don't want her falling. So anyway, I got this all fixed up for her, and she comes out here and she waters, and she's been doing a really good job because everything is alive. And so last but not least, this whole row are lilacs, and we put them here so that we could build a really pretty hedge down here. And I also planted on the outside of the fence here, if you look, there are sunflowers. And these sunflowers that I planted along this fence out here, all the way down, and in between the lilacs, I planted them in between the lilacs all the way down, are going to be the teddy bear, the autumn red sunflowers. See, they're coming up. Yay! Once I'm in the light. Autumn red sunflowers and the Mongolian sunflowers. So even though they're struggling in my garden, the birds seem to be leaving them alone right here. And I do have a bird feeder here. Of course, it's empty right now. Maybe that's why he's down in the garden chomping away at everything. So that is it, you guys. That's my garden tour. My first 2020 garden tour. I'm still going to call it the spring one because it's not June 21st yet. Even though we have made it into June. I can't believe it. I'm ahead of the game this year because I started my seeds inside. Like I told you before, 9 times out of 10, I always put my seeds in the ground. And last year I tried to start some inside and I didn't know anything about putting a fan on them, and they got like an inch high and they flopped over and died. And so everything else I either bought at the store or I stuck the seed in the ground. But this year, because of YouTube, I figured out how to start my seeds inside, and I think that's why I'm ahead of the game with the cucumbers, at least. My tomatoes for sure. So I'm pretty excited this year. I can't wait. Y'all have a great day. We'll catch you on the next go around. Bye bye.